Chris. Welcome to my basement gym. We're going to do a little yoga, get a little stretched out, get a little relaxed today. So I hope you enjoy. I will be providing alterations. It's very smart for us to be very aware of what aches and pains we have. And the shoulder's being kind of crabby, so anything downward facing dog or a little bit more loaded than I prefer in my shoulders, I'll probably give another option, but feel free to advance or regress poses as needed. I'll be a little bit more on the softer side of things, so hopefully you will find enjoyment in knowing that there is variety on how to approach things. You don't need to go hard all the time. Yoga is about embracing where you're at and accepting where you're at and just enjoying where you're at as far as your flexibility, mobility. You will find I'm not a very flexible yoga instructor, but that's why they call it practice. And I hope that is encouraging for others who are like, well, I can't stand on my head. I can't do yoga? Yeah, you can. So let's practice it together. Let's start with standing in the middle of our mats. Feet can be underneath the hips. Feet can have big toes touching. If your big toes are touching, let your heels be separated just enough so the outside edges of your feet are parallel to one another. So it's however you want to stand. You'll hear me say this a lot. There's no right, no wrong, just different. Let's just embrace. So letting our body weight sway gently forward and gently back. Let's find that magic spot where we feel just a little bit heavier in our heels than we do in our toes, and settle there. Perfect. Now shifting our weight into our right leg, and then to our left leg. And then settle in that middle spot that cuts us right into. Good. You found that? Feels a little strange? Just kind of lift your toes and put your toes down. Spread them out. Go ahead and lift your toes. Put the big toes down and let the other toes stay up. Spread them out and let them settle. Good. Just kind of wiggle out those toes. Just getting the mind to talk to the feet can be a big deal. Sometimes it actually takes physically touching that toe to get it to lift up or push down. So let's find our feet being anchored. I kind of like focusing on the ball of my foot, my pinky toe, and the corners of my heels. Again, most of my weight is in my heels. I'm centered down the middle. Now I'm going to lift my arches up. Let the muscles at the base of your feet be active, lifting up our arches. And then taking our thigh bones. See if we can't rotate those thigh bones forward and open, drawing our tailbone underneath us. Bringing a little activeness into our belly. Gently hugging that belly button into our spine, not sucking it in, just a little bit of a hug, a little bit of an activation. Sometimes it helps. Place your hand on the belly until you relax. You can feel yourself kind of slumping. And then bring that activeness into your belly. Just a little. Think of lifting the sternum a little up towards our nose. Broadening our collarbones so that our collarbones aren't bowed forward. But by lifting our sternums, our collarbones now become wide and straight. Our shoulders are underneath our ears and not in front by our chin. And again, that gentle activeness that we have in our belly, we're going to bring that right to our shoulder blades as we gently bring our shoulder blades together. So instead of nice and wide, our sternum lifts, our collarbones get wider. We just bring our shoulder blades a smidgen together. Just a smidgen. Everything is soft, gentle, not hard and rigid. Let's take a breath. Inhale through the nose and exhale fully through the nose. If you'd like, close your eyes. I have my eyes closed. Helps me relax, helps me quiet my thoughts. If that's not you, keep your eyes open. Maybe having your eyes closed throws off your balance, so feel free to have a chair or scoot next to the wall so your fingertips can rest against the wall. Just to make you aware of where you are at in your space. Nice, deep, easy breaths. Imagine filling our lungs like we're filling a pitcher of water. Fill the base first, and then everything else expands and rises upward till we're full. And then empty that pitcher. Allow the belly to raise first. And then the lungs separate and the sternum rises. And as we exhale, our sternum falls, ribs soften, and our belly flattens. This is our time here. Let's take our sweet time. Push away all those external thoughts, those to-do lists, everything that we think is so important. It's not as important as we are. Taking care of ourselves needs to be a priority. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, who will? And if we can't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of the things and the people around us that matter. Let's open our eyes, bringing our hands to heart center, coming through the middle, elbows close as possible for as long as you can. Me, you can see them, they're drifting apart. Again, that is my shoulder mobility issues. I'm embracing where I'm at. Sweep out. Imagine we're moving through water. Feel the resistance of the water as you spread the fingertips apart and pull the arms down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bring down. 4 more times. Inhale and exhale. Two more times. Inhale, lifting. Open up the heart. One more time. Inhale, lift. Open up. Good. Come through the middle one more time. And swan dive. Just bringing the hands to the tops of our knees, not going super deep at this time. And as we do this, let the hips shift back. Hands top of our knees. Cat curl up. One vertebrae at a time. As we do this again. Forward fold. And cat curl up through the middle. Forward fold. Hands on our thighs. Cat curl up and through the middle. Forward fold. Cat curl up. One last time. Forward fold. Cat curl up. Keep the cat curl right here. Hollow out through the belly. Weights in our heels. And flatten. And cat curl. 2 more times. Flattening. And cat curl. My hands are light. One last time. Flatten. And exhale. Cat curl all the way up. Hands by our sides as we pour water out from our right ear. And center, and out from our left ear. and center. 2 more times. 4 and center. And pour. And center. 1 last time. Sternum stay lifted. Shoulders are back by the ears, not in front. And let's look over our right shoulder and left and right and left. Let's drop our chin and lifting. Good. Last one. Shifting our balance into our right leg as we just lift our left knee up, lift it over an imaginary box and put it down. Lift up and over, working on our balance. Also working on waking up our hip joint. 1 last time. And changing sides, weight shifts. Grow the left foot through the ground. So we lift up our right leg open comfortably and putting the foot down. Notice I'm not rotating my hips with it. My hips stay forward, my belly button stays forward. 2 more. Last one. Good. Let's take the feet comfortable distance apart, toes turned out as we prepare for sunflower squats. Sweeping the arms up, sitting back into our hips and our heels. Try not to cave in on the arches, lifting our arches. Knees pointing outward in the same direction our toes are pointing. We're not allowing the knees to cave in. It's a squat, so our hips press back. Feel free to keep the chest lifted. Other variations is to hinge more and scoop from the floor. Find what feels good for you. This feels wonderful for me with my chest lifted. Let's do 2 more. Going into moonflower squats, same movement, but arms up and elbows pulled down towards our hips. Tailbone is tucked under. Weight is in our heels. Squeeze the shoulder blades together as we pull the elbows down. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Good job. Let's combine these as we do a little sunflower and moonflower. 3 more times. 2 more. Last one. Good job. 5-pointed star. Pressing through the floor, tailbone under, arms long, but not extended out from our shoulders. Pull the arm bones down into our shoulders. Good. Let's float the arms down. Toe heel in. Feel comfortable, and then stepping the feet in. Let's grab our blocks as we work on a little forward fold. So taking our blocks, nice tall height. If you're just a little tight in your low back, a little tight in your hamstrings, maybe you could put the block flat. Maybe you don't even need the block. But I'm going to have my block handy for my forward fold. Inhale, lifting. And as we exhale, hinge at our hip joint, right down here, so we can reach the block. Good. Pushing through the floor, using the backs of the legs, open up to airplane. and fold to the block. Good. And reversing out of our forward fold and floating the arms down. Let's do this a few times before we add in, okay? Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Good. Inhale, lifting up halfway. Airplane, squeeze the shoulders back and lower. And reversing our fold and heart center. Again, lift. Lift the heart. Forward fold. Halfway up. Squeeze the back. Reversing our fold. Try not to use your lower back to help you lift up from your forward fold, using the backs of our legs and the muscles right between our shoulder blades. Maybe you're warmed up enough that you don't need the block. Feel free to move it out of the way if you had it and needed it. If you still need it, that's okay. Let's add into this now. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway up. And coming down into our fold. Again, if you need the block, don't need the block, it's okay. We're going to walk it out. Step forward with the leg furthest away from me. And step back into a lunge. Okay? Again, feel free to use the block or come to the floor. If you're coming to the floor and you're kind of rounding in your low back, let the block aid you. Let the block lift you so you can flatten out the hips, dropping the hips down. The back leg is straight, reaching that heel behind us in a nice, beautiful, deep lunge. My knee is on top of my ankle, and I'm allowing my knee to fall away from me so I have more room for my hips to drop. Let's lower all the way down, bringing our knee down to the ground. Top of the foot rests on the ground as we prepare for crescent. Inhale and exhale. Push the hips forward, sweeping the arms up. Again, this is not about how far can I come back and crunch my low back. I need to take my tailbone from here to here, feeling that blossom of a stretch in the fronts of the hip. Shoulders down. Good. Exhale, crescent. Inhale. Exhale, coming into soaring eagle, allowing the chest to sink in between or right next to the knee. And sweep one more time to crescent. Push the tailbone under. Good. Exhale, crescent. Let's inhale. Bring the hands back to our block, curling under the toes. Push up and step in. Kind of rearrange your feet in our forward fold. And let's reverse that fold. Hands come to heart center as we do this again. Inhale, lift. Exhaling as we fold. Inhale, halfway up, squeeze the mid back, not the low back, and fold. And then again, stepping into a deep lunge. The long leg is straight, the knee does not soften, reaching the heel back. Allow the knee to fall towards me. Don't try to hug it in, let it fall and open, allowing room for your hips to sink. Breathe. Let's lower the knee all the way down now. Letting the top of our foot rest on the mat, coming into crescent pose. Inhale. And exhale, sweep up, pushing the hips forward. Breathe. Allow the shoulders to fall down and back as the upper portion of our sternum sweeps back. The lower portion of our back, keep long. Good. Exhale, crescent pose. Inhale to prepare for soaring eagle. And exhaling into soaring eagle, allowing the chest to come inside the knee. Flat back, we're not rounding. It is flat. Good. Exhale, soaring eagle. Inhale, crescent. Let's allow our hands to come back by our front foot. And again, if you can reach the floor, wonderful. If you need that block, grab it. So we're going to curl under the toes. Lift the knee up. Step in to our forward fold. And reversing our fold. Hands come to heart center. Good. Go ahead and shake it out. I'm going to grab a quick sip. I have cotton mouth, but feel free to stay here, quietly breathe. So we prepare for forward fold again. Inhale. Exhaling as we fold. Coming to the block or to the floor. We're going to step back one at a time and lower the knees down until we come all the way down onto hands and knees. If you're practicing in a basement or on hardwood floors, feel free to double up on your mats. That's what I do. Or make a wrinkle and allow your knees, and also make a wrinkle. And it's wonderful for your wrists. So if you're a person that you're like this, and it just causes that strain, that burning sensation, feel free to make a wrinkle up by your wrists. Or even grab a towel. Take a hand towel, fold it a couple times to make a skinny bar, and let the heels of your hands rest there. It really reduces that wrist tension, makes it feel so much nicer. So again, find what makes you feel good about your practice. And again, remember, it is practice. I'm not perfect. Hands and knees. Let's do a little wag the dog. So we're going to wag the dog, wag the tail. Lift up the foot, and let's swing it outside of our body, looking over our shoulder towards it, shortening the distance between our hip and our rib, and then following that tail in our mind's eye as we swing it across the other leg and peek at it from behind or over our other shoulder. Feel free to go nice and smooth with this range of motion. Relax the upper body. Allow the chest to sink down through. Don't push the mat away just yet. Allow that chest to sink. Keep the belly button lifted up though. Don't let the lower back collapse. Pull that belly in. Gentle activation. As we change sides, let's wag the tail, swinging it to the outside and following with our mind's gaze as we look over our shoulder. Waking up our spine. Getting ready for more challenges today. Last one. Good. Now, scooting the knees back. Let the hands be in front of us. What I'm going to do is just I'll take this arm. We're going to lay it so it's parallel with the edge of the mat. Extend out the other arm, pushing the hips back, sort of like a half puppy. Allow the chest to reach to the floor, reaching the hand forward, feeling a wonderful stretch on the underside of our armpit. That's where our chest muscles attach, where our back muscles attach.
Our weight is 50-50. Have a lot of it in your arm, and then sneak whatever's left that feels comfortable into the extended arm. Elbow is straight but not locked. And dipping the sternum to the floor. Good. Let's change. So bringing the other arm parallel, scoot out, nice and long, and then scooping the chest, reaching the chest to the floor. I'm more like 60-40, especially with this shoulder. I might even take a little bit more of a load out of it and be 70-30. Find what feels good for you. So we feel a gentle stretch. If anything makes your breathing labored, that's a sure sign that we need to soften the pose. Raise the hips up a little bit if you need to, instead of sinking the hips back. Good. Drawing the hands in. We'll come back to quadruped. Cat, cow. Inhaling as we prepare. As we exhale, let's curl the tailbone under. Separating the shoulder blades as we push our hands to the floor. And then finally, our chin drops as our gaze goes between the knees. Breathe here in cat for 3 breaths. With each exhalation, can we hollow out a little bit more? Pushing the mat away even more. Hang the head even more. Exhale, cat, and inhale slowly into cow. Tailbone curls up. Belly button reaches to the floor. Our chest sinks through the shoulders as we scoop our sternum and then chin forward. Breathing here in cow. Try not to let the chest be lifted. Let it sink. Breathe. Sometimes we like to rush cat and cow just because we think it's better for us. Sometimes if we pause in a pose, allow it to develop, you'll discover how we're truly supposed to feel this. Inhale, cow, and exhale into cat. Tailbone up. Push the mat away, dropping the head, and inhale to cow. Scoop through. Sink the chest. Pull the sternum through. And cat. Taking our time. Push the mat away. Hollow out. And into cow. One more time, cat. And a cow. Good. Let's walk ourselves forward into a low plank. Tailbone is tucked under, so we don't want to collapse in our tailbone and scoop. Want to tuck under. Take that curve out of the lower back and flatten it. Good. Pressing back into extended child pose. Exhale. Inhale, cat curl up. And exhale, press back. Inhale. And exhale, cat curl. And press back. Exhale, one more time, cat curl forward. And pressing back. Adding into this as we curl forward. Let's lower down. Press up and extend. 2 more times. Cat curl forward. lowering. Press and back. One more time. Resting in extended child pose, knees are apart. Keep the elbows straight, sinking the chest through towards the mat. Breathe. Inhale, prepare to cat curl. And exhale as we cat curl up. Digging our toes in for downward facing dog. Now bend the knees if you'd like. You can even do a puppy, which is just reaching the sternum to the floor like we did earlier with our half puppy. So maybe you don't have the mobility in your low back. Maybe your hips are tight, maybe your hamstrings are tight. So your downward facing dog looks more like this, and you're loaded heavy in your shoulders. We'd love it to have it be 2 sections. Nice flat back, making that little mountain, that little V, instead of a plateau like this. So if you're making a plateau, if you're like this, it can be because we are so tight in our hamstrings and our back that it does not allow us to do that. So shorten the hamstring muscles, give them some slack, or I should say lengthen. And you should be able to create that little V right here. If that doesn't work, puppy. Let's bring ourselves forward to plank as we lower down and press back into extended child. Cat curl forward and toes curl under, downward facing dog. Come forward to plank, toes or knees, and lower. This time let's stay down. I know my arms might come out of frame or my feet will come out of frame, so let's see if we can manage this. Let's bring our arms down by our sides, palms facing the ceiling. And all I want us to do is use our back muscles between our shoulder blades, not the low back, and reach to our shins. Pull the belly button away from the floor. Use the back muscles from your shoulder blades up to the top of your shoulders. Sweeping the arms forward. And lowering down. Let's draw the hands underneath our shoulders. Dig the toes in for downward facing dog. Breathe. Come forward to plank, toes or knees. Let's lower down. And one more time. Doing a half locust. We're going to lift the arms, reach for our heels, pulling our belly button away from the floor. Keep this as we come forward. And down. Let's draw the hands under the shoulders, pushing the mat away. Extended child pose. By the way, my candles are battery operated. I'm not going to get burnt. But they are pretty cool. Good, let's cat curl forward. Curling up into plank. We're going to take the leg closest to the back of the room, lift it up, and pull through. Placing the foot up by our hand. And if you're a person that's like, oh yeah, no, wait, I can do that. Feel free to put your knee down and kind of do that little toe walk. to get your foot up by your hand. And again, if you need that block, if you're kind of turtling a shell right here like this, I'd love it if our spine was flat. And if that means sneak that block in, please do so. Because this is what I would love for us to look like, whether we're on the block or on the ground. And just let your hips sway side to side. Wiggle into this hip pose. Maybe you'll even just paint a little circle. Just move the hips around. Help get this hip to loosen up. Again, blocks are wonderful. Good. One more time, crescent pose. Inhaling. And exhale, sweep up to crescent. Pulling the arms down to goal posts. Push the elbows forward. Pull the hands back. Extend up. And one more time, pull down. Pushing the elbows forward, pulling the fists back. And now lowering the arms, interlacing the fingertips behind us. If you cannot do that, sneak over, grab your strap real quick. Soaring eagle. Inhale and exhale. Hinge. Please don't round at your waist. Hinge. Flat spine. Good. Releasing the fingertips. Extend. And come to the floor. Again, if you need that block, sneak it in there. Breathing into the tension, no rush. Muscles don't just relax in 10, 20, 30 seconds. Breathe, move the hips around. Good, let's come out of this. Hands inside the big toe, curl under and lift the knee. As we lift up and float the foot down. For downward facing dog. Again, bend the knees generously to get that nice little V. Good. And changing sides. Lift up. Draw the knee in. And putting the foot down. And again, if you're like this, if you're like, oh my gosh, can't do that. Pick it up. Toe walk that guy forward. And then lower your knee. Always an option, always a way. We can find it. Now for me, this hip is really tight. So by gosh, I'm gonna use my block. And just wiggle. Just put movement here. Don't be static. Just kind of wiggle it around. Find what feels good for you. Breathing into the stretch. Again, remember, muscles don't relax in 10, 20, 30 seconds. Have patience. Preparing for crescent pose. Inhale. And exhale, sweep up, lift up. Tucking our tailbone under. Again, remember that we're not crunching into that low back, so don't let your low back collapse. Tuck that tailbone under. Feel the blossom, stretch in that hip. Good. And now, goal post. Pushing the elbows forward, fists go back. Keep that as you reach the arms up overhead. And one more time, draw down, pushing our elbows forward, sort of rotating that arm. And lift. And bringing the hands behind the back. Again, if you can interlace your fingertips, great. If you cannot, sneak that strap in. And soaring eagle. Allow the chest to come inside the knee. Breathe. Good. Release. Come to the block. And one last time, just wiggle the hips around. Bring the knee into the shoulder, drop the knee away. What feels good? And to come out, we're going to dig our toe in, lift our knee, and float the foot down. We'll put our block and our strap off to the side so we face each other. We do a little garden gate and side angle, kneeling side angle. Feel free to have your block handy if you'd like. I'll put mine here just in case, and I'll show you the alterations that can help make garden gate and side angle feel good for you. So let's take our right leg out. Now, you can have the toe pointed forward or slightly out, okay? Find what feels good for you. And again, if you need to make that wrinkle for your knee for padding, feel free to do so. And if a block is needed, have it on the bent leg side, okay? That'll be for the kneeling side angle. So coming into garden gate, let's lift up through the middle, come to a T, taking our right hand reach, and let it gently rest on the side of the right leg. So we lift and separate the ribs down our left side. Our left leg is anchored. Our left hip pulls down. Our ribs lift and separate. Breathe. Garden gate. Now sweeping into kneeling side angle. Feel free to bring the hand to the floor or to the block. Let's bring our other arm, elbow by our ear. Try not to have it be in front. Imagine we're being squeezed between two planes of glass. And elongate the whole side of the body. Breathe. Inhale, side angle. Exhale to lift a T. And then inhale, reach for garden gate one more time. And exhale. Breathe. Anchor this hip down. Separate the ribs. Lift. Breathing into the pose. Letting the stretch happen. Again, doesn't happen in 10, 20, or 30 seconds. Breathe. Good. Pausing here for a second, I want us to lift up. Lace our fingertips together this time. And reach garden gate one more time. Using our right arm, let's lengthen out the left arm. Pull on that arm. Good. Releasing to T as we come into side angle. Elbow by the ear. Open up the chest. Tailbone is tucked under. Opening the chest a little bit more, push through the mat. Gazing upwards. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, let's lift. And changing sides. Scoop myself over just a smidgen. There we go. Let's come through the middle. Bringing the arms to T as we prepare for Garden Gate to our left, as we reach to our left. Hand comes down and gently, it's soft here, as we lift and separate our ribs. I don't want us to push on this leg, so this arm is just here, just for guidance, not support. Lift and separate the ribs. The hip pulls downward. Open up the chest. Don't collapse. Open it. Maybe it feels uncomfortable. That's okay. It feels uncomfortable to me. It's not that it's bad, it's just I'm tight. Breathe into the tightness. Let softness creep in with each breath. Inhale and exhale to T as we come to side angle. Hand comes to the block or the floor. Elbow by the ear. We're not rounded. Open up that chest to the ceiling. Breathe. Inhale, side angle. Exhale, lift out to T as we do our Garden Gate one more time, reaching. Maybe it feels a little easier. Maybe it's a little softer. Again, I'm not putting weight into this leg, not on this knee. If you need to put weight for support, creep that forearm up by your hip. Good. Let's lift both arms up. Lace the fingertips together. And then back into Garden Gate, pulling with that left arm. Pull the right arm longer, intensifying the stretch. Breathe. Inhale, and exhale, lifting out as we come into kneeling side angle. Open the chest up to the sky. Lengthen the ribs, lengthen the arm, lengthen the outside of the leg. Exhale, side angle. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, let's lift out. Good. Hands coming to heart center. Let's sneak ourselves out. And tucking our legs underneath us as we uncurl down onto the mat. Our block and our strap are handy. Fingertips behind the knees as we uncurl one vertebrae at a time down onto the mat. As we bring our knees in, again, feel free to hug the knees to the chest with the hands over or under. Under is a little kinder to joints because this pulls knees into a deep, deep stretch. And that may not feel good for you. So please do what feels good. As we draw the knees in, cradle rock, side to side. This feels wonderful on my low back. Let's slowly allow the knees to fall away, changing that rock. And then allow the feet to rest down. Good. Let's toe heel the feet out. So now the feet are on the edges of our mat. As we allow the knees to windshield wiper side to side. Start small. Keep the belly button pointed towards the ceiling. Let it all be down here. And now allow the hips to lift. Allow the belly button to rotate, but don't let the ribs flare. Pull the ribs down. Now, let's stay with the knees falling away from each other. And if you'd like, if your ribs don't flare too much, you can keep them down, feel free to take the foot and place it on the knee, right behind it. This will help deepen the stretch for our hip. But if we do this and all of a sudden we start flaring like I am, that might be too much. Keep the stitch down. You can leave your foot there if it's just giving that gentle tension, but we need to be mindful to not let it pull us fully down. It's one of those times where a block propped underneath this knee and hip can be just the ticket to allow the foot to aid with gravity to pull this knee internally or the hip internally. Beautiful stretch, but without letting the ribs flare up. Let's breathe into the tension. We can feel the stretch right here. Feel it soften. And maybe, just maybe, that block is not needed anymore. Or we can change the height of it. Good. Let's remove the foot. Slowly lift out. And one more time, side to side. We're going to do the same thing, other side. And now let's allow the knees to fall towards each other. Staying here, feeling that wonderful stretch within our hips. And again, we can take this foot and let it rest on the knee to draw this knee, this hip more internally. Deepening the stretch within our hips, but if our ribs want to flare, again, we can take that block, prop it underneath. And when we feel the tension relax, we can work that block out or take it totally away. As long as our ribs don't flare up, we need to keep our ribs down. For me, I have tight hips. So the block is a wonderful tool for me. So that I can allow gravity to do its work. I can still breathe. I can feel the stretch and not hard tension that makes me want to resist. Let's take our ankle off of the knee, slowly lifting out, and just one more time, just to loosen things up. Good. Let's grab our straps for our bridge pose as we lay the strap across the fronts of our shins. Bring the feet in comfortably close, not heels right up against our gluteus. It's just a smaller bend than 90, if that makes sense. And the strap is across the fronts of our shins, so that way we may grab them. And we will feel good about our bridge pose to where we're not going to feel like our feet aren't going to slide out from under us, or our shoulders aren't going to slide out from under us. It's a wonderful way to come into bridge pose. Let's inhale, increasing the neutral curve of our low back. And as we exhale, scoop through the abdominals, turning that tailbone up towards the nose and bringing tension into the feet as we press our feet through the floor. Hips haven't lifted yet. We can feel lightness in them. The tension is building within our legs. Hug our thigh muscles to the bone as we push the feet through the floor, healing just 2 or 3 vertebrae off and pause. And then push a little bit more. Peel up 2 to 3 more and pause. Gentle tension on the strap. And then push again. Peel up 2 to 3 more. One more time. And if you like, you can wiggle your shoulders underneath a little bit, adjusting your tension on your strap. Breathe. Strong legs, hugging those thigh muscles to the bone, pushing with your feet, not digging into the low back. I love using the strap. It helps me feel a lot more secure and allows me to not dig into my low back. Inhale, and as we exhale, soften your grip on your strap as you allow just the top of the vertebrae to drip down. Couple at a time and a pause. Couple at a time and a pause. Couple at a time and a pause. Until we totally release. Good job. Let's do that one more time. I love the couple vertebrae at a time and a pause. So that way we can build on separating the movement incrementally up our cervical spine. Inhaling, increasing the neutral curve of our low back. And exhale, scoop through. Allow that tension to build within the feet. Heavy, heavy feet. Our thigh muscles hug the bone hard. Now, just a little push, and our tailbone and a couple vertebrae lift. Pause. Push a little bit more. A few more. Again, push. And one last time. At this point, you can walk your shoulders under a little bit, pushing heavily through the feet, hugging our thigh muscles. Draw that sternum up towards the nose. Try not to dig into the low back. If you feel like you're digging in the low back, drop your hips a little bit. It's okay. Sometimes it's tougher to get up into that thoracic spine. And that's why, again, why I like the strap. I'm able to walk my shoulders under and get more of a curve in my thoracic spine than that deep little pinch in my low back. Breathe. Good. Let's untuck those shoulders as we go down one vertebrae at a time. Just a couple in a chunk. Pause. A couple more. And pause. Keep the tailbone high. Couple more. And pause. And all the way down. Let's remove that strap for a second. Good. Let's take an ankle on top of our knee and drawing that knee towards our chest. Some people can scoop through and grab. If you can do that, wonderful, great, but look at me. I'm turtling up. I'm making like a shell with my back. I don't want that. So for me, supporting my knee, supporting my foot, allows me to do my figure 4 stretch, and my upper body is relaxed. You can always use a strap as well. Take it behind the knee and draw in. So find what works for you. See what you enjoy. And just rock side to side. Breathe deeply. Allow the tension to release. And maybe you can draw the knee even closer. Let's release our foot to the ground and uncross. Same thing, other side. knee on the ankle, or excuse me, ankle on the knee. Feel free to reach through. Or if you're like me, if this is a struggle, support. It's a combination of mobility, and I have very short arms. I am all torso. A gentle rock side to side. Breathe. Again, release doesn't happen in 10, 20, or 30 seconds. Have patience. Don't rush. This is not a competition. This is a practice. Let's release our foot to the floor and untangle our legs. As we come to final relaxation, let's stretch out our legs. Let's point our toes. Thumbs, arms overhead. Let the thumbs touch the floor behind us. And reach long. I know you can't see my arms, but my thumbs are here. And lengthen the whole front part of our body. And then relax. Allow the arms to come down by our sides. Feel free to lift the hips or shoulders as we come to final relaxation. Allow the feet to fall apart. As we focus on our breathing, as we inhale fully and exhale fully. Let our belly raise and fall. With each exhalation, let's allow ourselves to soften and melt into the floor. Facial muscles relax. Chest muscles relax. Belly muscles soften. Let that softness radiate out through the arms and legs, our fingertips and our toes. Allowing ourselves to melt with each exhalation a little deeper into our floor. Let's slowly wiggle our fingertips and our toes, making them a little bigger each time. Let's bring the soles of our feet together, hands together, gently rubbing to create some warmth. Let's shield our eyes with our hands, allowing our eyes to open. As we circle around, draw the knees in. Cradle rocking side to side. And now draw in and release. Good. Feel free if you'd like. Rest and final relaxation for as long as you like. Maybe you have soft music on within your home. But if you're done, I hope this was a great practice for you today. I hope it was a great way to polish off a big day or to get you on the right foot in the morning. However you practice, put yourself first. Take care of yourself. And that will enable you to care for those that you love around you. Have a great day.